Welcome to the 2022 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this weekend edition, March 26, 2022. Well, as we head toward the end of the first quarter, there is a lot going on. Please be sure to subscribe for the latest in financial news, for the pure, unadulterated truth. And thank you for your comments and your support. Today, we're going to be talking about briefly two things about pending home sales, the hyperinflation, and are American consumers tapped out financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? When is the breaking point? And as we continue further into this third or fourth, beginning of fourth inning into this collapse, we can see that home sales are going down. We can also see that the biggest share of Americans since 1940 said their financial health will get worse this year, and that's based on food, gas, utilities, and transportation costs, as well as no raise. We had no wage raises since 1990. True real wage growth wages. So for people who do have jobs, so this is we're blessed, but at the same time, many of us are stressed and are preparing to be able to prepare for the worst. You know, many people are, even Biden, President Biden himself has remarked that Americans will feel the pain for months to come with gas prices and other things going up. And so I feel like, guys, that to be honest with you, to be transparent with you, some people walk around. You see people in these stores and in these cafes. As long as they have their $9 latte in their and walking on their cell phone, the $1,000 iPhone 13 or 14, they feel like the world's gonna be okay. You know, their heads down. No one is looking up, speaking. They're not watching, looking where they're going, and everybody's self-absorbed. But this is gonna be the wake-up call this coming summer as everything comes to a head. So we're gonna get right into it here, guys. Um, Pending home sales sink in February. Once again, we have pending home sales down. Mortgage applications are down, according to CNBC.com. This sets home sales, existing homes contracts fell 4.1% in February compared to January. This is the fourth straight month in pending sales decline. So this tells you that things are on the downside. I believe we're almost to the top of this housing market. So sellers, this is the sellers market. Those who are looking to sell and downsize, baby boomers and others, they might want to go ahead and think about selling in the next maybe 5 months, because things are going to be, we're at the absolute almost top of this market. And you know, mortgage rates are going to continue to go up. It's almost at 5% now, and I predict that it's going to get to 6% or higher. And you know, that's just what a normal economy rates were back in the early 2000s, or before the 2001 crash or recession, in the 2008 crash. Mortgage rates were higher than that. So this is just getting back to a normal level. Unfortunately, that means pain in the housing market, pain in the food and utilities market. And so this is the fourth straight month of declines, as you can see. And the thing is, you know, there's a lot of homes that we see here. And I see this in a lot of these hot markets like DC, San Francisco, Phoenix, Florida, you know, Tampa, Florida, all these areas that they say in the Midwest. You see a lot of houses that are under contract even before they're built. Like, I mean, they're halfway built and they're under contract. Have you seen that too? Let me know in your neighborhood. You go through some of these new subdivisions. Just go out and drive one of these Sunday afternoons or to these new subdivisions, because you know there's only a couple of builders that they build now. You know, DL Horton, Lennar Homes, K Havanen, you know, Ryan Homes. It's the same builders around across the country. And you go there and you see these houses that are under contract, quote, already before they're built. And now that's starting to cool off, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I've seen, you know, that's going to be cooling off, because you have to remember these contracts were made before the beginning of the new year and before hyperinflation and the rates set in. So we're just now getting to the top. We will reach the top of this market just before summertime, sometime in June, or a little bit after summertime, late June and July. And then all from there out, things are going to be going downhill. Mortgage rates are already going up, applications are going down, and, you know, sales are down 5.4%. Analysts are expecting a slight gain, but you can see declines are here month over month. Now, Paul Legere, a buyer's agent, says most of the buyers are adjusting their target to buy the home that they can afford at the higher rate. So what does that mean? Well, that means that, well, they're not going to be people are not going to be giving $50,000 over asking price. Now, maybe BlackRock and some Vanguard and some of the venture capitalists who are buying up neighborhoods and going to rent it back to us for cheaper, maybe they can still do that. But that tells me that the credit market and the housing market will be tightening up with this interest rate rise. Remember, it's going to be more expensive to loan money to buy new cars or even used cars. It's going to be more expensive to get that loan, personal signature loans. All that's going up, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to be very, very concerning because the American consumer is already pinched. As a consuming nation, 2/3 of the American economy is the American consumer, us, you and I, consuming products and goods and services. That's what it means. So if 2/3 of our economy is based on consumption and we cannot have enough money to buy these big ticket items, cars, houses, lands, investments, it's going to cause a big problem. And as you can see here, biggest share of Americans, according to MarketWatch, since 1940, said their financial health will get worse this year. Consumer Sentiment Index slips to 59.4. Pessimism is even worse than early in the pandemic. People thought that we were going to some sense of normal once we got the vaccines and everything. And now we see that we're almost 3 years into this crisis and we're nowhere near normal. Somebody tell me, is it normal to have the average price of gasoline in America $4.29 a gallon across the board, according to AAA? Somebody tell me, is it normal to have inflation above 8.5% official inflation? Now, we're not counting real inflation. Real inflation, as you know, is at 21% and climbing. But the official numbers from the BLS.com, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, shows inflation at 8.5% and growing. Americans are worried about rising prices and aren't sure the government will succeed in bringing price pressures down quickly. Well, they should be, and we should be, because the price pressures are not coming down. And you notice these shelves, ladies and gentlemen. You go into Walmart, Super Walmart, you go into Super Target, you go into Costco, Winco, Ralph's, whatever store you have in your area, Kroger. There is still a lot of empty shelves and product unavailability, and this is going to continue through 2024, through this Biden administration first term. This is going to continue, and this is going to be sad to say. And so, consumer sentiment is down, inflation is up. You notice how they say that wages are not increasing, but this article says the cost of living has jumped almost 8% in the past year. Wow. Outstripping a rapid increase in worker pay. I know that Social Security, for those of us who get Social Security 65 and above, for those of you that do get that, there was a cost of living increase. I know every year they do a cost of living increase. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was only at 3.5 to 4%. The cost of living is up 8% in just the past year. And so, if you're on a fixed income, try to get a side hustle, a passive income, things that and that goes back to skills. All of you guys are skilled. Whether we do a trade, whether we do an online trade or a physical trade like plumbing, electrical, carpentry, mechanic, um, restoring or even restoring old computers or fixing computers or technology. Some of the young people, they restore are making ringtones. There is something for everyone to do because you need to have multiple streams of income when you're dealing with a cost of living that's jumping 8% every year. And so this Americans are already paying a lot more for cars, home, rent, food, gas, and other staples. And whether they blame this on the Russia-Ukraine conflict or whether they blame this on printing a lot of money, the bottom line is it's based on printing a lot of money. The devaluing of our currency is what's causing this. And this has been going on since I started talking to you guys a year or two ago. And this is what they're saying. Consumers, this is in the Wall Street Journal. Consumers are pivoting spending to services like dining and travel. With many consumers tapped out on physical goods, economists hope warmer weather and waning infections will kickstart service purchases. Well, that all sounds good, but who wants to eat in a restaurant? And now, for a reference, you can go to McDonald's for two or three people, a family of four, and you can easily spend $30 or $40 at McDonald's now. So what families are going to be going out to these fancy restaurants, these diners, these steakhouses, and spending money like that? And who's going to be traveling when, even if the restrictions are lifted, the prices on the hotels and everything are up because business travelers are not there because people are have been working from home. Conferences, symposiums are virtual for a lot of teachers and professors. They're not doing a lot of conferences in Orlando and Vegas and Canada and all that kind of stuff. They're doing limited schedules. So who is going to be traveling and dining when the discretionary income is going down, as I just showed you, but inflation is going up tremendously? And now there's even talk of another wave of health crisis, another outbreak, something variant BA2 or something, guys. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I thought they'll continue the Greek letters, but I guess they ran out of Greek letters, and so now they're going on some weird number scheme. But it's supposed to be coming out of the UK. But regardless, guys, with all of this going on in America, how is it that we're going to be able to survive? The only way we're going to be able to survive is if we're going to have to get small. Okay. We're going to have to cut back. And this is why I say we're going to have to go back to the basics: food, security, water, gold, silver, some cryptos, and you need to have some spiritual sense, because this is a spiritual battle above all. And what I mean by that is that your conscience is going to be affected, because once they start going to the new digital social credit score system, which I believe they will, it's going to take time once they implode this system. Once they go to the new digital system, everything is going to be tracked. When they go to that system, the world goes to that system, just like China and other countries have already have. We're gonna have to be flexible and adaptable to be able to have faith that that the good Lord above is going to get us through this, and He will. But we're going to have to find unconventional ways to come together with our time, our money, and our resources, and most importantly, our heart, our minds, our conscience. They can take away the physical stuff. Okay, you may have to cut back. Many families are cutting back on living together, cutting back on food and dining and travel and other discretionary expenses. But they cannot take your skills, your survival skills, what's in your head, what what you prayed about, what you have, your faith. They cannot take that away from you, your conscience. Okay, so this is what the next battle is going to be about: the battle for your mind. And this is what the Cold War is going on. It's so-called, it's sort of a proxy Cold War between Russia, the East and the West. Okay, this was going to come down to, when I mean the East, I'm talking about Russia, China, India, those BRIC nations over there, and in the West, I'm talking about mainly U.S. and UK, etc. Okay, it's coming down for a battle of resources and a battle for your mind and heart. And that's what the bottom line is. And unfortunately, money makes the world go around. And that's the first thing that they're going to start with. First, they started with the health crisis, right? You notice they did that? They said, oh, they made the battle of the unvaccinated versus the vaccinated, right? Now they're making it a battle of a money crisis. The top upper 1%, who's going to do whatever it takes to break the middle class, to keep the power going, structure going, whatever way they reclassify it. That's the next battle, and this is that's the end game. But we can survive if we work together, we pray together, and we